Hello and welcome to webinar number 7. And with me today I have no other than
Matthias, head of CS at Fibbl.
And today we have something very interesting. We are gonna release Fibbl Ideas.
Fibbl Ideas.
So if we start, if you're listening or watching this, what the hell is Fibbl Ideas?
Fibbl Ideas is an idea that was born a couple of months ago, and to boil it down, it is a platform, a hub, and a community where we gather a lot of creative concepts and ideas on how brands can leverage 3D and AR on their e-commerce. In short.
And so you said that this was an idea that was like founded a few months back. Why like I know that you have put in a lot of work creating this.
Yeah.
And what's the reason behind that?
Yeah. So we talk with brands every day, all day long, every night as well. And we noticed that obviously, as we have stated in the previous webinars, that 3D and AR has a real impact on different KPIs. However, we also noticed that there is an untapped potential of doing more things through the customer journey and through the entire shopping experience. So we started to think about how can we package and conceptualize and show the world of what good looks like when it comes to different touchpoints, such as on the homepage or the product listing pages, in the navigation, research, and so on and so forth. So I will say that we have tried to boil down 3 years worth of insights and learnings of speaking with the customers and hearing what challenges they have when designing their e-commerce experiences and trying to communicate their brand and products. And that has both led to this platform, which consists of real-life examples from some brands, but also creative concepts that we have visualized and hope to see in the real world very soon. Because we have always known that this and this could be possible, but it's one thing to talk about it and plan about it, but it's another thing to show it. So this platform wanted to highlight the visual stuff of it.
And like, what's the biggest difference from, let's say, you're talking with the client on the phone?
Yeah.
You try to explain like the hoovering part on the PLP or showing it. What's the difference?
Night and day. Like those ideas that no one have seen before is impossible to communicate via voice or via text.
And do you believe that that's because like we know 3D and AR, it's been around for a while, but it's still quite new.
Yeah.
It's not like the market all the brands have adopted this on their e-commerce. So who is this, the Fibbl Ideas site? We're gonna go through a lot of examples in this episode. So if you're just listening to the podcast, you can view the video file as well, and then we can share some examples for you to more easily understand. But who is it for? Is it e-commerce, marketing, content? Who is Fibbl Ideas for?
Right now it is for e-commerce people.
Yeah.
We have an ambition to broaden the scope, because there is 2 parts of this when it comes to the e-commerce part. One is what you tapped in on. There's a different thing to visualize the different ideas. But another gap that we're trying to fill is to push the boundaries and challenge and demonstrate what 3D can be used for. So my favorite example, for example, if we can show it here with the PLP animation, that is not even like maybe something you think of when you hear other webinars that you can do with 3D. Because we usually focus on the 3D viewer and the virtual try-on and augmented reality. This is just a video file with some tech behind it. So some of these ideas is like a knowledge gap from the market that they don't really know what they can do and can't do with the 3D files, basically.
Yeah.
So that's also one part of this whole platform that we have like, 25, 30 ideas. We also want to build a community where people can submit their own ideas. So in a year from now, we hope to have hundreds and thousands of different ideas of things we don't even know today that you can do.
Yes, and go into that, because the last 12 months, a lot of things has happened, and we, like you said, we have learned so many things, and especially you. So what is like the biggest learning from your end the last 12 months that is now visualized in Fibbl Ideas? What would you say is the biggest one?
The biggest one is that perhaps what we talked about the last webinar, that maybe it's just stating the obvious, but it's a reusable asset.
Yep.
The whole 3D, the whole investment in 3D is reusable in any case. So last time we talked about a lot of marketing and content, and I think now with Fibbl Ideas, and what I hope you guys at home or at the office or wherever you're watching, I hope what you see now is that it goes way beyond just going 3D first on the PDP. You can really adapt this and incorporate this as a core strategy in the whole fundamental e-commerce space, basically.
So making the 3D first approach, we have a lot of clients that are going 3D first, and what that means, you explained this before, but it's just leading with the 3D experience and have the 2D content secondary.
Exactly.
And now you want to broaden this on the whole e-commerce, not just the PDP.
Exactly, where it makes sense.
Yeah. And so, because I found it interesting because you have the 3D file, you have the technology behind it, you have all these things, and once brands like, oh, they get it, then they get a lot of more ideas.
Exactly.
And those ideas you want them to send in to Fibbl Ideas.
Exactly.
And then perhaps they can do it on their own with the file, or there are things that you can take with you in our own product development.
Exactly.
To provide more value. That's the idea.
That's the idea.
Exactly. To inspire and also like, oh, this is a great feature.
Yeah. And that's why, if you go into Fibbl Ideas, you will notice that we have small disclaimers explaining that this is a creative concept. But we are just waiting for someone that says, I want to do this. Our CTO, Christian, is ready to start building the things. So this is the whole idea of Fibbl Ideas, that pushing the boundaries, developing and redefining of what good looks like when it comes to e-commerce. Yeah.
And going into some examples, like if you were to give an example on like the start page, the PLP, the PDP, banners, like what if you, because you have the most information, you're working so deep with the clients, what would you do in all the respected areas on what's possible now with Fibbl Ideas?
Yeah. So on the homepage, I would definitely try the 3D banner, where you can switch to different products. I think.
And explain the 3D banner for everybody to understand.
Yeah. So I think we can visualize it here. So basically, as any kind of promotional banner on the homepage that you have is usually like a video or like an image with some text and a CTA that takes you to a collection page or a product page. Do exactly the same, but replace the content to have something interactable. So I think this example that we have with Sack Footwear is a brilliant one. It was a launch of a new collection, and they led with a banner, and they allowed the customers to directly twist and turn and look at the shoe. But they also allowed them to switch to different colors. So I think right away on the homepage is a much more engaging way of showing the collection that I think will contribute to making them navigate more pages, stay longer on the site, and hopefully have a higher incentive to buy the product. So that is like my favorite idea on the homepage among the ones that exist there.
Yeah, and moving on to the other areas.
Moving on to the collection page or the product listing pages, category pages, whatever you want to call it. I really, really like the one that we touched on before with the video animation.
Everybody loves that one. Everyone's like, whoa.
Like, everyone that I have shown it to is like, whoa, shit, this is a nice experience. And I'm looking forward so much to see the first real example, because I think it is like one of those things for the customers as well. Like, you come into like a flagship store, a physical store. When you go into the Louis Vuitton store in Paris, for example, you're like, wow, this is an experience. And I think the feedback that I've heard when I show that to potential clients that can do it is like the same thing. But beside that one, I also really like the quick view. I think the quick view is something that we see more and more brands adapting to, with the little eye icon, so they can preview the product from the PLP. From the brands that I speak with, it's very effective, because you remove some friction for the end user.
And when you say effective, do you mean it's converting better? Or
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly, because when you have these sites that has like plus 100 products, one of the main challenges and things that we have heard is that you struggle to help people to find the right product, and instead they bounce away if it's not easy enough. So in that sense, it's really effective to have a quick view. And I think in the quick view to as well leverage the same mentality that you easily want to find the product that you're looking for. It's a much more smoother experience to have a 3D model where you can control what you want to look at on the product instead of going through 6 to 7 images. So the PLP, the video animation, and combined with the quick view, I think was a top-notch category page implementation. And then moving forward to the product page, obviously the 3D first, we have talked about it a lot previously, but one thing that I really liked with 2 specific examples is the one from Atoms, where they had the lights on or lights off, as well as the one with annotations. I think those...
Yeah, I think like we're gonna put this up in the video. So if you're listening, please go in and check it out. It sounds like we're high on our own supply, but it's a really cool experience, and it's hard to understand just speaking. Yeah. So please proceed.
Yeah. No, but those 2 in combination is like highlighting the different features and functionalities of the products. So in the Atoms example, you have that you turn the lights off and you see the reflectiveness in the reflex of the shoe, and with the annotations, it's a quite common way that we see some brands doing it already today with images. Sure. Yeah. But here we take it one step further and we let the customer control and click. And then you highlight the feature functionalities of the product in a new way. And I think this is just like another extension. So obviously it makes sense to have 3D first, but here you can reuse it again to like for the customers that are further down the funnel and want specific information. So really like those 2 as well.
Yeah, and which one would you say, like, of course everything is turned into like one experiences, like one overall experience. But as we know, of course, when it comes to the marketing side, like a lot of the traffic is driven to the PDPs today. Yeah. And then from the PDP to the PLP, like you go, it's a little bit backwards. So in what area would you say, okay, if you're looking into 3D, you want it for e-commerce, where would you start? Because doing everything right away can be a bigger project, but where would you start?
As the main goal for the most of the brands with the technology like ours is to increase the conversion rate or reduce the return rate, I believe it's most tangible to measure that on the PDP, because that's where the final decision happens, and then that's where we see that we help the customer make a more educated purchase, so to say. But I don't see any reasons of why not starting with both a really good PDP implementation with the 3D first and try on and other things that you might find interesting, as well as starting to think on the PLP, because it's not a big thing to implement a quick view like what we showed, or to have a quick augmented reality placement with a simple button, or a try-on for that matter. So why not do both? Because I think even though it's most tangible to measure the impact of this on the PDP, from what I hear from other brands, 1/3 that comes to the PLP goes to the PDP. So we're losing a lot of potential there if we don't do anything there.
Yeah, so if you have that problem, go into Fibbl Ideas. Yeah. We have a QR code here. You can check everything out yourself. And it's very interesting. And like we really want to invite you who watches this or listening to be creative. Think about, okay, what can we do? And submit a suggestion for us to build it. Perhaps it's even possible without us.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are gonna be, or you are gonna be very active in this hub as well. So, like, what's the biggest? What would you say? So the reason is, of course, we want to educate, we want to help people, like who have challenge X and Y, conversion returns, to do more with the same asset.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that if I have a 3D model, I can do all of these 30 things that you have listed right now.
Yeah.
That's like, maybe you shouldn't do everything, but it's possible.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, like I said, go in, check it out. But how would you like advise people to think to be like push the envelope even further? Like, do you have some ideas that are not in Fibbl Ideas yet, where you're like, oh, this could be a game changer? Or
Well, we got one from, we showed this to a partner of ours, and we got one idea instantly that I thought was very funny and exciting. And that was to, you remember a couple of years ago when everyone was running around and doing Pokemon Go in augmented reality?
For sure.
The idea from the partner was that you could make an engaging campaign or a competition where you hide a discount code or something on the 3D model. So you needed to like zoom in and really explore the product to find the discount code with very small letters, or in the AR to just walk around and try to find the code. And like, as we talk about SEO and have people spending time with your brand and spending time on the website, imagine doing something like that and people really want to find the code, like that will boost up those numbers quite good. At the same time that you do something that maybe no one has seen before, and engage the customer in a different way.
Yeah, because that's super interesting, because gaming and stuff, they're always so far, like they're when it comes to 3D, this type of immersive technology. I mean, there's a reason why people spending a lot of time gaming different games. And perhaps the average session time you have in e-commerce now is 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And if you can provide something else, that, like, we see that goes up quite dramatically.
I think there's a lot of reports that highlights the impact of gamification of things, how it like brand acknowledges and things like that. So just the one idea that they came with instantly from seeing this, and that was so nice, because that was the first partner externally that we showed Fibbl Ideas to, and right away an idea came. And that's the purpose. The purpose is not to highlight what Fibbl can do, or like what we are as a company, or what we can offer as a product. The idea is to push the industry of just showing what's possible, educating the market to just accelerate the insights and knowledge about what you can really do if you understand that you need to invest in 3D.
And also because like we have different perspectives when it comes to, I have a lot of dialogue with the clients, like from the start, and then you have a lot of like communication with the clients when they're implementing, they're doing stuff, they are doing more and more and more. But also I think it's important, like all these visual these videos and stuff, just to make them like understand, oh, I can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then they can be so creative. So when we talk, I understood I can do X, Y, C. I want to do A, B, and we're like, yeah, you can. Yeah. You just go for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important when something is perceived as quite new, and that we, like you said, we want to take that, just give away all the knowledge we have. Because I love this phrase of yours, like if you can buy a Ferrari and drive it like a Fiat.
Yeah.
Or you buy a Ferrari and you actually drive it as it should be driven. And the same here. So like, do stuff, fail, send in your best ideas. Perhaps we can realize it, or you can do it yourself.
Exactly. It's all about finding those little percentages here and there. So like let's say one of these ideas make a 7% uplift on the PDP, on the conversion rate. Like, what if we also increase the click rate from the PLP with 10%, and then you have another thing like the small the small chunks make the big impact at the end of the day.
Yes, and if you haven't worked with 3D before, let's say you're working in e-commerce, you're a head of e-com or e-com manager, and you're like, damn, this is interesting. What should they do?
They should just try it once, as I always emphasize in the webinars. Just do it one time with one idea, one specific goal, one product. And I think maybe you can elaborate more on that, but that's why we have as a main part and strategy as a company, we always offer one free trial to really feel the process. How does it work from A to Z? Sending the product to us, seeing how long time it takes to create that one, getting back the files, getting the hands-on with the script implementation and things like that. So just try it once.
That's a good, really good. And like you said, the reason why we offer in the free trial is to, like, every brand want to assess the quality.
Yeah.
They want to implement it on their e-commerce to see that it works.
Yeah.
They want the 3D file to have somebody review it, or might even make a creative or something. And that's something we're super proud of being able to offer. And you say, okay, here, send us your shoe. You get it back. All of these 30 experiences you can do with your shoe.
Yeah.
And like just try it. So we say, dip the toe first, then become certain in, okay, and then we take the next steps from there. So
exactly.
Here you have a QR code. You can scan it and just send us your product. And by an ending note, this is very exciting, and you have moved quite fast in launching this. Is there something you wanna just say to the people who are listening and watching, like what do you want them to do?
Let us know what you think about. All of these ideas came from discussions with customers. And even for the clients that I'm speaking to who are going through rough times and can't share too much internally, when I was talking with them, it was like, if you just tell me what's going on and like what you're focusing on right now, it could be that we can do something that neither of us have think of. And that is like the result of Fibbl Ideas. We didn't even know that maybe 75% of these ideas that you see here today, we didn't know about them 12 months ago. It was like everything's based on learnings and insights from speaking with real customers. So tell us about your challenges. Tell us what you're thinking about, because even though you don't have a concrete idea yourself, us knowing what you focus on and what's your problems and challenges can help us in creating new ideas. And also, I think this is just the beginning. I think this Fibbl Ideas now has been created for e-commerce people mainly, but as we know, it's also a reusable asset when it comes to content production and marketing experiences. So I think we're gonna try to move fast and make a second iteration or a second subsection on ideas that is more for the marketing peeps.
The marketing peeps. Yeah, but like it goes, like you said, so please give us feedback, good feedback, bad feedback, new ideas. Yes, we love feedback. And
tell us what you want to do. We want to build stuff with you. So if
you're
like,
excited about that
right now, like me and Christian, the CTO, we will jump on a call and realize the dream of yours. Like, yes, tell us what you want to do.
Yeah, so go for it. And this goes into like, we believe in sharing that knowledge and insight. And as I said, I started 14 months ago at Fibbl. We didn't have this discussion then.
No.
So the learnings have been awesome. And please just go in, check it out, try it out, do what Matthias said. But we're gonna end on that note. So if you have watched this, hopefully you get some great inspiration. And if you have listened, our recommendation is always to view, because we have so many visual effects in this recording. So it's going to be much easier to understand what we talk about. And as always, we want feedback on these kind of episodes as well. So if you want us to deep dive into something, or there is a client or anything you would like to know more about, just reach out. Otherwise, thank you and take care.
Thank you.